In this video, you're going to learn about the different components of a resume, what you should and should not include on your resume so you can increase the number of job interviews that you receive. So here's the sample resume I was telling you about. So we're going to go through this, and I want you to really pay attention to what I'm about to say. So at the top here, you see we have the name, we have the phone number, we have email address, and we have the LinkedIn URL. Now, what you notice is that the name is here, but there's no address. Phone number, email address, LinkedIn. One of the reasons why I don't include an address on a resume is because most businesses are not going to mail you anything. If anything, they're going to contact you through your phone number, or they're going to contact you through your email, or if you have a LinkedIn profile, then they're going to contact you through LinkedIn. You really honestly don't need your address on the resume, because on the online application, they're going to ask you for your address. So they're going to have a record of it. So that's not going to be an issue. You can add it if you want to. It's your choice. I just always recommend you don't. And one of the main reasons I do it is no one's really going to mail you anything. Second reason is it saves you space on the resume. You need as much space as possible on your resume. So now let's go down to the summary section. Now, keep in mind, summary, profile, qualifications, core competency, whatever terminology you want to use, it's fine. But let me tell you what you should never use ever again. That is the word objective. You should never use the word objective. The word objective is referring to what's your objective. And let me be very clear about this. Companies don't care what your objective is. They only care about what they want and how they're going to benefit from calling you. So get rid of objective. It's old, it's outdated. Please get rid of it. Don't ever use it again. Summary, profile, qualifications, core competency, whatever term you want to use, just don't use objective. So once you have your summary in this section, now I could have put this in paragraph format. Okay, that's an option. You decide what works best for you. I prefer bullet formats. You notice here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullets. You don't really need that many. It's up to you. It depends on what you're bringing to the table. However, here's where I'm going to differ from a lot of people that talk about creating resumes. When you are sending out a resume, you have to put yourself in the shoes of the recruiter, of the hiring manager, and you have to think about the thousands of resumes that they get, even if it's submitted online through the applicant tracking system. And we'll talk about that in another video. But you need to present something that's going to capture their attention. So that's one of the reasons why I always recommend summary, profile, qualifications, core competencies. I don't care what you call it, just don't call it objective. I want you to put that up front. I want you to put that at the top simply because the employer is looking for something that says, oh, this person has what I'm looking for. They're actually bringing something to the table that we need. What you will find is that many people will put your skills, because they usually be skills. Doesn't matter. I could have used skills. It really doesn't matter what that term is. But they would literally put your skills at the bottom of the resume. So let me help you make sense of this. Someone is reviewing hundreds and thousands of resumes. Doesn't matter if it's computerized. The person who showcases what they bring to the table as early as possible and makes it easier for the hiring manager or recruiter to identify what they bring to the table is in a better position than someone who slaps their skills, their knowledge, their trainings, and everything that's valuable to the employer at the bottom of their resume. You should never do that. And if anyone tells you, oh, it doesn't matter where it's placed on the resume, no, it does matter. It's very important, the order in which you put things. Format, structure, content. Those are the three key areas. And we're talking about structure right now. So that's important. So keep that in mind. So I don't care if it's one bullet, 2, 3. That's up to you. What are you bringing? What do you possess that's valuable to the employer that you feel they should be aware of? They should see immediately to determine if they should call you for an interview. That is what you put here. And don't worry, there's a future training coming where I'll go over exactly how you create this section. But because you have no experience, what you're going to put here, as you see in the next video, is something that you currently possess that you don't necessarily see yet. But I'm going to walk you through how you take your no experience and create a resume and present yourself in such a way where you look like someone an employer should contact. So the other thing I want to bring up real quick is with this email address here, because this is something that for some reason people don't understand. You need a professional email address, your name in any capacity with the number is fine. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen emails Sexy Boricua 69, Hot and Delicious 23, Darth Vader 101. I'm like, come on, really? Like, this is what you're putting on your resume? And people say, oh, but that's my email address. That's the one I check. I don't care. You create a different email address. You create a professional looking email address. Here's my rule of thumb, and I expect you to follow it if you're going to watch these videos. Never give an employer any reason to not hire you. Okay? That's important. So let's go down. So now, this is experience. You notice it has name of the company. That would be your title, city, state, month and year, started, month and year, you finished. Or if not, it's just going to have month and year you started and then still working there. Okay? So here's the thing. You need to get your dates. Very important, you get your dates. Because, and I don't know how people don't see this, when you apply for jobs online, they ask you for your start date and your end date. If you know the month and the year, you don't always have to know the date, the actual date. But if you got the month and the year right, you're close. You're in the ballpark. At least have that right. But if you can't remember the month and the year, there's an issue. Well, I don't have experience. I didn't work anywhere. No, you have experience. And we're going to cover that in the next video. So, but you still need the month and the year of that experience. When did you start obtaining that experience? And when did you stop? Okay, you need that information. What I always recommend, and I don't know why more people say this, is you should always have a copy of your resume out when you're completing an online application, simply because you get the data right. You get the start dates and the end dates right. The company name, the location, the organization name, the location. And that usually has a brief description of what you've done. You don't have to create it. It's right there on your resume. Okay? And you list all of your experiences. Now, I want you to rewatch this video because I want you to look at this resume and I want you to tell me what stands out to you. This is a draft resume. This is not even a finished resume. This is a draft. It's okay. It's not like it's perfect. You know, don't expect to get your resume perfect. It's okay. Okay. Average. It's average. Maybe slightly above average, but it's average. So pay attention to what you're looking at. And I want you to see if you can catch something about this particular resume. Okay, nothing special about it. And so as you see here, there's a couple of bullets under each job. Technically, and to be honest, anywhere from 3 to 6 is fine. You don't need that many bullet points. Okay, you really don't. So don't overwhelm yourself when you start working on your resume. I don't want you to get stressed out doing this. But the key is to capture the employer's attention by showing them what you bring to the table that's related to what they're asking for. And what your resume does, it helps you target specific jobs. And this is where most people have issues is, oh, I have a resume, so I'm going to send it out to this job, to that job, to this job. Well, let me make this clear to you. When you're first starting out and you have no experience, yes, you will have one resume because that is all you have. However, let's say you get that first job and you was there 6 months to a year and you add that to your resume. Well, moving forward, you're going to have to tailor your resume for each role that you apply to. Like, oh man, I got to do my whole resume over. Well, no, not technically. Not the whole resume. Because remember, I said here in this summary, skills, profile, qualifications, core competency section, you can reword this here based on what the job is looking for. So this section will definitely be changed every single job you apply to. Watch this. I want you to connect this. Remember that master resume I told you about? And I said you should have created that master resume. Do that brain dump. As you apply for each job, you go to that master resume and you see what the job is looking for. And then you look at your master resume and say, hey, do I have any experience in this area? Because remember I said, you're not going to remember everything. Okay, you're not. And so having that master resume is going to help you to tailor a bullet point or two to that specific position that you're applying to. It's going to make your life that much easier. So the other thing you want to pay attention to is look at the beginning of each sentence. Okay, you got action verbs. We're getting to that at a later training. What I want you to just pay attention to is the different components. So you got your contact information up here, no address, summary, profile, qualifications, skills. As long as it's not objective, you're good. Okay, that's important. You have your experience here. There's a reason why I'm using the word experience. You're going to catch it in the next video. This is important when you don't have any work experience, okay? And then if you scroll down, you're going to see education, okay? And so you're probably thinking, well, if this person has a master's and a bachelor's, why not put that towards the top? I thought education was important. We're going to get into that in a future video because there are many nuances in how you set up your resume. Right now, this is just the simple, basic structure. Many people would say this is an ugly resume. It's too wordy. It's not enough white space. They'll go on. They will chew this resume up. What I'm trying to get you to understand is it's nice to get input about how you should set up your resume. Absolutely. However, at the end of the day, what works for you may not work for somebody else. And what worked for somebody else may not work for you. I don't want you getting bogged down with, oh, I have to tweak this, tweak that. No, as long as it's grammatically correct, good spelling, easy to read on the eyes, you know, employers can find what they're looking for, because that's the most important thing, then you're fine. You're fine. Trust me, you're fine. Don't get caught up in the technical stuff and analysis paralysis and I want it to be perfect. Your resume will never be perfect. It'll be good enough. That's it. And get over it and submit it. And if you're not getting as many interviews as you like, then you modify it, you update it, and you keep working on it until you get it to where you want it to be. So that's the structure. Okay. Basic structure. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. Here's your action steps. First, I want you to open up the master resume and I want you to start adding more information that came to you as you watch this video. Because I know something came to you like, oh, I can add this. I forgot I did that. Add that to the master resume. Then I want you to open another document and I want you to save it as your first name, last name, resume draft. Okay? First name, last name, resume draft. and just save that with the name. It's going to be a blank document. It's going to be an empty document, but that's okay. And so in the next video, I'm going to show you step by step how to create a resume from scratch without using a template. I am totally against templates. Okay. Templates keep you confined into a specific format. So if you use a Microsoft Word template for your resume, the moment you get 15 minutes into it, you're going to start screaming because you're restricted in how you can actually set up the resume. I don't believe in templates at all. I prefer you start from scratch and you modify and create the resume the way you want. Something very similar to this, very simple, not complicated. The key, and this is so important, the key is to make sure the employer can find what they're looking for so they can call you for the interview and not someone else. That is the key. Once you understand that, don't get stuck in the weeds. Don't get stuck overanalyzing. Just take what you got, put it on a piece of paper, and save it, proof it, make sure it's grammatically correct, spelling is correct, and you're good to go. You're good to go. And finally, post your comment below asking any questions about resumes. And you're going to be pleasantly surprised when I answer them in a future video or I create a video answering your specific question. See you in the next video.